Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Wednesday, January 31st, 2024, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can, Cash App, $ ORION NWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got NBA action on this Wednesday evening, the Milwaukee Bucks and Dame Dollar versus the Portland Trail Blazers. This is the first debut of Damian Lillard coming back to Portland since the trade to Milwaukee. So we're just wrapping up right here with Florida and Kentucky on the college hoop side on ESPN, and it looks like number 10 Kentucky is going to scrape by. They're up by 2 with 13 seconds left. And then we're going to transition into Dame Dollar and Giannis going against the Portland Trail Blazers. And hopefully for the Blazers' sake, not too many fans boo. I feel that we're pretty classy as an organization in the Pacific Northwest. Ducks fans, Beaver fans, Husky fans, Cougar fans, as far as the college football scene is concerned, I think we're viewed pretty well. Obviously, there's going to be some hate, on the jerseys and the helmets and Nike, obviously, through Oregon. And as far as the Blazers are concerned, we're never going to be really championship worthy, but it's like, we had our time, with Drexler and Porter and Kersey and Williams and Duckworth and Uncle Cliffy. We played the bad boys in the 90 and Jordan and Pippen in 92. That was really the best shot that we had besides going to get Shaq and Kobe in 2000 in the Western Finals. Other than that, the Western Conference final appearance that we had a couple years ago against the Warriors, but I kind of knew what we were getting ourselves into. Can't believe we're going to overtime here. Come on. Now they're going to have to find a different channel to have the stream come on a different network. Come on. Megan in the building. What's good? Daniel in the building. What's good? Let's go. Now I got to be able to see if they're going to throw it up on a different channel. Because the game is supposed to start at 7, but then I don't think they were anticipating this. Looks like they moved out the tip 12 minutes. All right, so they're going to wait for this to kind of finish it. And once this is over, instead of going on to ESPN2 or ESPN3 or ESPN de Ocho, they're just pushing out the time. So, well, it was really probably the last, good hire that was available, because I don't think anybody wants Belichick. Nobody wants Vrabel. So really it came down to you either get him or you don't. So, obviously it's not anybody's number one choice. It's not anybody's number 2 choice, probably with Johnson and Slowick. But, I think a lot of people had that particular coach maybe in their top 5 or 6, maybe not top 3, but after the top 2 guys decided to go back, to their respective teams, the Detroit Lions and the Houston Texans, to work with those offenses, you got the best thing that was left. And you go from the oldest coach to the youngest coach. And I actually like the hire compared to, saying, hey, we're going to hire Mike Vrabel. So, you got to be excited about that. And the Ravens are good enough to be able to find somebody else if they need to. So, Danny in the building, what's good? Commander's job left. Yep. Oh, Dame Dollar. Let's go. And I'm not going to do, too many Blazer streams, throughout too many NBA streams throughout the season. But if I am going to do one, I'll probably lean towards the Blazers a little bit more. There was only 3 NHL games that were on, and I really didn't have any interest in it. And then obviously, getting all the messages, Dame is coming to town, and a few people that I know are going to be there. Tickets are pretty expensive. So, I imagine we'll losing. My favorite player in the Blazers isn't playing. The only one that's not playing, Shaden Sharp. But even if we had Sharp playing, we're going to lose this game, you would think, unless the energy in the crowd is so good that they're going to try to beat Dame, in his return game, from being traded from Portland to Milwaukee. But I just hope we don't lose by 20, 30, 40, 50. I hope that it ends up being somewhat of a close of a game. And then we'll decide on what we end up doing tomorrow. If we do Lakers and the Celtics, and then possibly Nuggets and Blazers on Friday, and then we'll end up doing the NHL All-Star Game festivities on Saturday. Yeah, I think everyone knows that Milwaukee's going to win. I mean, Daquan, I don't think that is a surprise to anybody. Okay, the Blazers are one of the bottom 5 teams in the NBA. We're terrible. Okay, and Milwaukee is one of the best. So we're pretty much just gonna see what the reaction is from the Portland fans to Dame, which I assume will be 90% cheers, 10% boos, just because he doesn't deserve to be booed at all. But you're always going to have a fan base that's angry that maybe their favorite player decided to leave or for whatever reason with the trade. So thank you, man. I got the Dame Stone jersey on, rookie jersey too from Moda, early on, like 2012, 2013. And I remember me and Jake ended up going to a few games in Dame's rookie season. And when we went to the team shop, they literally only had 2 jerseys that were sewn that were left. So we thought, okay, we better buy them now. Otherwise, we're not going to get them. And at that time, Dame was really hot in Summer League. All his stuff was selling out. And, so I got a few. I got a black Dame. I got a white Dame. And then I had another one that I ended up giving to a friend, but I still have the black and the white zone here. So, yeah. And we know Milwaukee's going to end up beating the brakes off the Blazers, but, I mean, at least it's some content to do. And, I definitely want to see if the Blazers can just put a little bit of effort. But again, Chauncey Billups needs to be fired. We need to figure it out. And like I said, it's like you built so much with Dame, but you didn't bring anybody to play with Dame. And that's the problem. A lot of the NBA stars are not really guys that appreciate the outdoors. So, they want to go to the clubs. They want the girls. So if they're going to go to Miami or go to Chicago or go to LA or New York, they would rather go to those places than go to Portland. But at some point, we have to hope that we can put, somewhat a good of a team together, to be a top 8 team in the West. But we haven't been championship worthy in a long, long time. And even when we went to the Western Finals a couple years ago against Steph Clay and Draymond, I knew we were going to get swept. And, the best teams that we've had are the 2000 Blazers against Shaq and Kobe with the famous alley-oop. But the best teams really were the 1990 team and the 92 team, besides the team that won in 77 with Bill Walton for our only championship. So, but the 90s team, we played the Bad Boys with Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, and, the Microwave, Vinnie Johnson, Bill Lambier, John Sally, James Edwards, Dennis Rodman. So that was tough. That a couple years later, we get there again. Drexler's the second best player in the NBA at that time, but who's number one? MJ. And, nothing you can do when you're going against MJ, and he gives you one of these and hits 6, 7, 8 threes in the game. So, we know as Pacific Northwest fans that even if we go to the playoffs, we're going to be pretenders, not contenders. And obviously on the NBA side, there's only going to be a couple teams, on the East and West that legitimately have a shot. It's very, very top heavy in the NBA, as many people know. 87-86 Kentucky up on Florida with 2:30 to go, and then we're going to get into the Blazer game here, which is going to start in about 5 minutes. They delayed it, so. Let's go, baby. But I got the Blazers spinning logo, and then I'll hit you with the I got the Milwaukee spinning logo as well. And then hopefully we end up getting a decent matchup. Now, if Shaden was playing, we're still losing, but at least I'll be able to get some like one-on-one with him and Giannis and maybe a poster dunk, maybe something special. But he's been injured for quite a while, and hopefully when he comes back, he'll provide a spark for the team. But obviously we're tanking without saying that we're tanking. And, it would have been really nice to be able to grab Wemby in the draft last year. That would have changed, the Blazers franchise, dramatically. But it just wasn't meant to be, And then instead we end up getting, Greg Oden 2.0 and DeAndre Ayton, where he plays good sometimes, but sometimes he's, kind of robotic. And, you get 10 and 8 from him and you want 20 and 12. And, it is what it is. So. All right, we got less than 2 minutes left in this college hoops game. Kentucky Wildcats and the Florida Gators here on ESPN. Kentucky up by 1 with less than 2 minutes to go. The Blazers aren't losing this game by much. I don't know. I mean, no Shaden Sharp. I mean, the only thing that's going to keep the Blazers into the game is if you can get Giannis or Dame into foul trouble early, and if we get really lucky and we feel the Uncle Mo and the momentum from the crowd, But again, I would assume you know, the overall environment for Dame is going to be positive. We don't have a lot of like bad toxic fans like some other fan bases that are out there. So I would assume, just like any fan base, even the great ones, if you lose a guy like Damian Lillard, to another team, regardless if it was the team's choice, Dame's choice, or a combination of the two, he's the number one scorer in the history. A lot of people got Bill Walton, Clyde Drexler, and Dame, right there at the top. I think Brandon Roy, if he would have, not have degenerative bad knees, who knows what could have happened with Brandon Roy. I assume Brandon Roy would have made the Hall of Fame. LaMarcus was kind of on his way, but then decided to dip and go to the Spurs because he thought he was going to win a championship with Pop. How did that work out for you, LA? Not too well. So, but it never was meant to be with Roy, Odin, and Aldridge. But if we were able to have those three stay healthy for even like a 5-year period, I imagine that we would have made the finals at least once. And I don't think that's an exaggeration. If Odin is, doing 20 and 15, Roy's doing, 25, 5 and 5, and then Aldridge is doing his 20 and 10, three guys in the lineup. I mean, it would have been pretty tough to stop, and they didn't really get a chance to play together that much. But maybe we would have been able to go to a couple finals. Hell, maybe we would have won one. I mean, I don't think anyone could have, would have, should have, but you never really know. But I mean, at that point when Odin came in, it's not like there was very many centers that were really good at that time. This was obviously before Embiid and before the Joker. So definitely the NBA has changed quite a bit. All right, they say they got it on ESPN News, but I'm still waiting for them to click this over. Click over, baby. Judah in the building. What's good? Reflect in the building. What's good? One sec here. All right, I got it going here now. They dancing out there. All right, Dame, I see you. And Adidas ended up naming a building after Dame in Oregon, which is pretty cool. And obviously I'm not too surprised. I mean, Dame is a legend. I mean, Dame is, one of those things. He's a staple, of Oregon. I mean, it was actually one of the guys, in a long, long time that we could be proud of, that he's ours. Like, that's our guy. Like, if he wants to end up pursuing his rap career with Lil Wayne and have Wayne on features and he wants to rap, he's actually one of the NBA players that is successful in the hip hop game. And if he wanted to do that full time, he could. He's probably the best, you know, athlete, rapper, overall. I mean, there's other guys that have tried, and some of them have had a little bit of success here and there, Shaq and whatnot. But I think, Dame and his influence being from Oakland and having connections to E40 in the Bay and Wayne, it's something that, he's well respected on and off the court. And it's just kind of a shame that the Blazer organization, after Paul Allen died, and Jody Allen in the group, obviously owning the Hawks and the Blazers, not really doing exactly what needs to be done, at least on the Blazer side. Maybe did the right things on the Hawks side, but not on the Blazer side. And the Blazer side is kind of, taking a back seat, and it shows. And our fans are still going to be incredibly loyal, but the Blazer fans do deserve at some point, I'm hoping in the next like 10 to 15 years that we can be maybe a top 4 team in the West. But at this point, it doesn't look like it's going to be, at any given time. So, go, baby. Anthony Simons. Let's go. They're on starting lineups right now. Brogdon, baby. Gosh, I really wish that Shaden Sharp was playing in this game, but and then obviously tomorrow, more than likely we'll do Lakers and Celtics since there's no NHL, and then we'll do probably Blazers Nuggets on Friday, and then NHL All Star Game festivities on Saturday when I watch the Senior Bowl in the morning. Jackson Powers looks very, very good. There's a lot of guys that are really showing out on the Senior Bowl. Obviously, Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., Jackson Powers. Very, very excited to see where Jackson Powers ends up going. And I was talking with Air and a few others, and it sounds like everyone wants him. Like Green Bay Packer fans want to solidify that O line. And hell, if you can get Jackson Powers to be blocking up front for Jordan Love for the next 10 to 15 years, he'll probably become a Hall of Famer. So I know there's a lot of people that are interested in. Again, we've been known for pretty good centers like Max Unger in the past and Grossu, but Jackson Powers is the best we've ever had, and I do think that he'll be a phenom and a generational piece like Penei Sewell on the offensive line for the Lions. So very excited to see what happens in the Senior Bowl as well. There we go. Good start for the Blazers. Let's go. I saw that. Thank you. Let's go, baby. This is exciting for Dame. You can tell. Let's go, baby. In and out jumper is no good. And obviously, we got a little bit. Everyone's got the game on a different platform and whatnot. Everything will be obviously up on the scoreboard up above. Nice job, Brogdon, baby. Let's go. Dame at the top of the key for three. In and out, no good. Anthony Simons with the board. Come on, Anthony. Let's go. I think the Blazers are going to play with a lot of energy. And again, we're one of the bottom 5 teams in the NBA with the Spurs and Wemby. But I think that if any type of extra energy that is going to be given from the fans, it's going to be tonight. If there's going to be one game where we try a little bit harder than maybe normal, it'll be tonight. So, Dame with the layup. Paisley's in here. Simons, little give and go. Ayton, jumper, in and out, no good. Wow, Dame from deep. Oh, Dame ain't playing around. Dame's going deep, 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 deep. There we go. Giannis at the top of the key. Wish Sharp was out there to be able to see what he could do and match up. Giannis crashes to the floor. Played with the Blazers from 2012 to 2023. Dame Dalla. Giannis up the line. This will be the only visit for Giannis and Dame in for Milwaukee coming to the Rose City. So they're doing the countdown on Giannis. Got to 10. Let's get to 20. Let's get there. The whole crowd is chanting at him at the line with the 10 count. Gets close to a violation on almost every free throw. Giannis is always shooting it at like 9 or 9.5. Aiden at the top of the key. Brogdon. Damn it. Turnover. Yeah, you like the new spot? Dame at the top of the key with a little two-man game. Middleton. Alley-oop to Giannis with a flush. Wow. Come on, Simon. Simons is going to have a Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum type of effort. Simons. Woo! Break those ankles, baby. Let's go. Giannis at the top of the key. God, he is so big, so lengthy, so tough. I mean, off a miss. I mean, he anticipates his the miss, faster than anybody else. So it's like that reaction time is so fast. There we go, Ayton. Brook Lopez for three. In and out, no good. Rebounded, damn it. Lillard kicks it out. Another three-point attempt, no good. Let's go, baby. Come on, Rip City. Let's go. A little two-man game. Ayton. 15-footer, no good. Giannis with the board. Definitely will be interesting in the playoffs, and we'll do more NBA coverage as we get closer to the playoffs. But if there's a few days of NHL coverage being just nothing there, yeah, we got to make sure we're doing something. And I forgot that this game was this week. I thought it was later, so I was like, oh, only 3 games on the NHL slate, and nobody really that I wanted to stream today. So nice board. Giannis kicks it out to Dame, posting up Middleton. Wow, Dame Dalla. Ayton. There we go. Ayton, he's like, I couldn't make the 15 or 16 footer, but hey, I can make maybe the 12 footer. I got to take a couple steps a little bit closer. Ayton's averaged a double-double in all 6 NBA seasons. That's great and all, but instead of being like a 10 and 10 guy, we need him to be a 20 and 15 guy. Bucks take the lead. Middleton, he's that X factor for the Bucks. Grant. Lillard with the board. Wow, defense is absolutely terrible on Lillard. He's just getting easy layups back and forth. I mean, half of the points Milwaukee has, Lillard's already got 6 and uncontested, nobody moving their feet. I mean, Anthony Simons, come on, bro. That's the type of defense you got on Dame? Golly. All right, we're at a commercial break here. 17-14 Milwaukee. And anything on the sports news today, if you want to go over that, please do. Shout out to all the people that are watching on Twitter/X and the people that are in the room. Shout out to you. Hopefully this ends up being as competitive as we've seen so far in the first few minutes in the first quarter. And hopefully the games end up being a little bit better tomorrow as well. With Chauncey? Really? Just taking a quick peek to see what we got here. So Senators 3, Red Wings 2 in OT. So Senators got the big road win. Kings 4, Preds 2. And then we got Sharks and Ducks that is going to start here in about 5 minutes. So if there's anything notable on the NBA side that happened today, I don't think so. I mean, besides the T-Wolves crushing the Mavs by like a billion. All right, man. Take it easy. Good luck with that. Congratulations on the new coach. Hold up here. There we go. Let's go, baby. Oh, Scoot with the flip. Giannis knocked away. He's going to go to the line. Let's go. Got to minimize how many times we have Giannis on the line for sure. Too risky for injury, yeah. Well, at least the Blazers are keeping it close. I mean, we're only down 3. I mean, defense has been really bad, but and it's funny too because obviously with Chauncey Billups, he was known for defense, with Detroit when he played. But I guess if you actually look at our roster, we're just incredibly young and we need better players. Bottom line, it's hard to be able to, get the right type of role players on the team that you can be good. I mean, there's no longer days of having guys like Stacey Augmon and Steve Smith and Detlef Schrempf and Scottie Pippen. Whether they're on the bench or starting. Wow, Grant went in for the throwdown, got rejected. Lillard, reach and foul on Lillard. 25 points per game for Lillard, 42% field goal percentage, 35 from deep. And you would assume in this like 2 to 3 period, 2 to 3 year period with Lillard, being in Milwaukee, he should have a good chance, to make the Eastern Conference Finals every single year. And hopefully, for his sake, he'll be able to go to the NBA Finals at least once. Obviously, for the Bucks, you're hoping twice, so that way, if you lose the first one, that you can at least go back one more time, before he decides to call it a day, or if he comes back to Portland or whatever he decides to do. No, we can't put the R at the end. We can't go dollar. It's got to be dollar. DOLLA. 24-19 Bucks. Now 27-21 Bucks. Wow, what a rejection by Lopez. Come on, Ayton. Scoot with the 0-0. Scoot's too raw out there. I was really thinking that Scoot would be like Dame right out of the gates, and he's nowhere near. Like, not even like a percentage of Dame. Not saying that it was the wrong pick, but it's going to take a while for him to be able to kind of get comfortable in this NBA game. Lopez for three. Damn. Wow. Come on, Simons. A little two-man game, pick and roll with Ayton. Simons. Floater. Oh. Yeah. Follow your shot, and he does. Come on. Jay Crowder. Nice role player for Milwaukee. Crappy defense by the Blazers. What's new? 29-23, Milwaukee. Scoot Henderson. Jeremy Grant. Little one-on-one hezzy. Nice jumper. Go, baby. We're down by 4. Lopez, deep three from Lillard. No good. Wow. They got Lopez shooting threes like Dame almost from half court. I don't know what the hell's going on there. He does have the range, though. So I guess if that's the one guy that's shooting deep, I don't really mind. I mean, he actually can make most of them when he's out there. All right, come on, Blazers. Keep it close. Let's not get blown out by 30, 40, 50. Yeah, we have one of the youngest rosters in the NBA. Wow, Scoot with that reverse dunk. Wow. But Shaedon Sharpe, obviously, I feel that's like my favorite player on the team. And, he can shoot threes, post up, give you a highlight, Vince Carter-like dunk. He can kind of do it all, but he's not playing. He's injured right now. So, obviously, if he's playing, that gives us a little bit more oomph in the starting lineup. Or, they were using him as a sixth man, but when other guys got hurt, he got put into the starting lineup and actually did a hell of a job. So, to me, oh, baby. Like, to me, if we're ever going to have an all-star player on the Blazers, it'll probably be Shaedon Sharpe one day. Nice dunk there. Blazers with a little bit of energy. 29-27, only down by 2. Yeah, I like Brogdon. I think everyone loves him. Like, wherever Brogdon goes, like, whenever you get a guy that is like a journeyman, like a role player, but they end up doing something good wherever they go, like Lou Will or Jamal Crawford, There's never been anyone on planet Earth that has said, "Oh, I hate Jamal Crawford or I hate Lou Will or guys like Brogdon," because if they go there, right, they're going to do well. They're going to score probably at least 10 points or more. They're going to give you 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 assists, probably 4 or 5 boards, maybe a steal, maybe draw a charge. Make a couple free throws, maybe even a deep three. Like he does everything, and I think those are the type of players in the NBA right now that are undervalued and underappreciated. The guys that may not be, the Kobe Bryants and the Giannis's and the Lucas, like the household names, but the guys that continuously put in the work and can get you 10 and 10 or something kind of sexy, like even if it's nothing crazy, like like superstar numbers, like some guys are putting up like 30, 10, and 12. But I mean, if you get a guy that's not superstar, but like good role player, and he's giving you 15, 5, and 5, that's pretty fucking good. Like if that's your third or fourth best player and they're putting up 15, 5, and 5, you'll take that. I mean, how many guys are averaging that with the third or fourth best guy on the team? Not many. So I like him. I think every Blazer fan, as soon as we got him, everyone was like, like because we knew, okay, that he'll play defense, he'll rebound. I mean, he's smart. I mean, any place that I think you've seen him play on any team, he's been productive. I don't think he's really been shitty anywhere he's been. So yeah, we like him out here in Rip City. Same thing with Jeremy Grant. We knew that he was a boss for the Pistons and he was averaging about 20 a game, and we figured that if people got injured, obviously Dame moved on, that could be another guy that could step up and play a little bit better than the NBA circles think. I think Jeremy Grant is underrated. Like if you look at him, you're like, he's not that good, and you think that maybe he only scores like 10 points a game, and then you look at his stat line and actually look that he almost doubles that. Sometimes he can even put up a 30 spot. So it's kind of cool when you see guys that are lower named but still can put up the big points like the big dogs like Luka or Giannis or Embiid or any of the others. Yeah, well, you can't afford to get rid of both of those guys. So Philadelphia and Utah, but no Embiid. So LeBron and Tatum. So I think that's what we're going to do tomorrow. We'll do Lakers and Celtics tomorrow. But it's early, so it'll be 4:30 Pacific. Oh, I'm really happy we're keeping this game kind of close. Yeah. Plus also money. You got to be able to, and like, where are you going to put your money? And obviously, if you're the Celtics, that means that certain players are, like even the Blazers tried to get Robert Williams. What happened? He got hurt, and I kind of knew that there would be a good chance that he probably would. But again, it's like, who do you want to keep as your core? And if you're the Celtics, you can't let that duo get separated because the chances are, if you keep Tatum, the guy you bring in isn't going to be as good as Brown. And then if you keep Brown, you're not going to definitely get someone as good as Tatum coming in either. So you'll still win games, but it's not the same chemistry or continuity. So if the Celtics are ever going to win a championship, they will win them with that duo. They're going to have to stick them together for the rest of their careers and then hope that they can make the finals a couple times and find a way to win against the Western Conference, which will be tough because they're going to have bigger big guys in the West. Next board, let's go. Yeah, Holiday's a sleeper too. He's very good. I don't think anyone's ever complained about him either. Open three. There we go. Closing down to the end of the first quarter. The Bucks are good when they're almost at 40. First quarter about wrapped up here. Come on, Rip City. Where's the foul call? Crowder everywhere. Most of the starters for the Bucks are out besides Giannis there down low. Wow, what a board. Incredible. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, like I was born in '82, but I still, Cedric Maxwell, and then you had Danny Ainge, even Bill Walton was there, post Blazers on the Celtics, and Robert Parrish, right? Kevin McHale, Larry Bird, DJ, Dennis Johnson. Like my brain is like Sheldon from Big Bang, bro. Like, like all those games that I used to watch, like I really remember like all that stuff. And also, being a heavy card collector and memorabilia collector in the 80s and 90s. That's all I used to do. I mean, I'd play video games, play basketball outside with the friends, Atari 2600, Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation 64, all that. But I would obviously, I would always be collecting cards and reading the stats off the back. And it just was something that always stuck with me. Like, I'd be like, oh, cool card if it was like a hologram or whatever. But I would always flip it over and memorize, 6'2", 200. Oh, you went to fucking St. John's, 20-point average, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, but I do remember him. There we go. End of the first quarter, 38-37 Bucks. You couldn't ask for a better start for the Blazers. I mean, of course, being up by one, but I mean, the Blazers, sometimes it takes 2 quarters to get 37. So for us to get 37 in the first and to kind of hang with Dame and Giannis, because this is the first game of Dame being back in Portland, and there is a little hype level there. And the crowd will be more excited for this game than probably any game during the regular season. I mean, unless it's like seeing Wemby, obviously then the crowd would get excited to see that. But Dame coming back to town, that's a big deal. There we go. Scoot with 3. I like it. 38-37 Bucks. There we go, Scoot. Let me know any kind of photos or anything you guys want me to bring up. You want some old school Celtic photos? You want Blazer photos, Bucks photos? You let me know. Some turned out pretty damn good. I had to go through a few different images for Dame, and I had one that was distorted that looked fucked up, but I was like, let's try to, have it look good. And it took a little bit longer, but it's fire. Dame Dollar, baby. We'll give Milwaukee they'll give them their little spinning logo. I like that one. Yeah, very high scoring. I anticipated it being high scoring, but not this much. I was thinking at the end of the first quarter, we would be like in the high 20s, like 29-22 or something like that, just hoping that we're within 5 to 10, and it's not like, oh my God, the Blazers are already down by 30 in the second quarter. Like, I want to be interested and engaged the whole game, or at least 3 quarters in. Don't if they run away with it, so be it. But this would be an awesome game for the Blazers to win. Obviously, it means more to us than it does to Milwaukee, and obviously just trying to be able to compete. And hopefully Dame didn't get booed. It doesn't sound like he got too many boos there. So we're pretty classy in Portland. So. Not maybe the whole state, but most Blazer fans, I would assume. I got some Magic and Bird stuff. Go back into my childhood when shit was actually good. And for some of y'all, you're in my age range too. So when I talk about these things that occurred, in the either 70s, 80s, or 90s, you can relate. It's like I feel kind of bad for the Matt Paydens and the Double E's and the Elliots. They have no idea what they missed out on. Especially if you're under 25 years old, like you've barely seen anything. Like a very small fraction of what was available, and honestly, the stuff that was in the past was a lot better. And it wasn't, you could like I talked about it before, and it's not just basketball. In the Jordan era, when Bird and Magic, it was baseball with Griffey, Joe Montana, Gary Rice, Barry Sanders, Bo Jackson, Dion, Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Brett Hull, Patrick Waugh. It's like you can go down Martin Brodeur, like every single thing that you want to go over on every single level of sports, even golf, with Tiger and Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi, even things as like irrelevant as tennis. were better even back then, where you actually may have paid attention to Andre Agassi or Pete Sampras. Now, is there anyone that you're going to go out of your way for? Maybe at some point with like Serena and Venus, but it doesn't have that same kind of feel as it did maybe a few years back when they were younger. But it just things are different, and you're still going to get GOATs. But I don't know. I just feel like some of the athletes are picking up on some of the younger generation's trends of being lazy. And I just feel like a lot of the products that we see, nowadays with movies and TV and the actual product of wrestling and sports, it's like it kind of feels like a little lazy, and it kind of feels like the talent pool is not as good. Like, you have more top 50 players in basketball, baseball, football, and hockey that played in the 80s and 90s than any other 2 decades ever. I mean, why is that? And then movies, TV, like, there's many things. But, I mean, hell, if you've only been watching for the last, 5 to 10 years, I mean, you haven't really seen a whole lot. Love me, Bird. Bird is, I got the Bird, he's had a couple books, that, him and obviously another individual, ended up writing. This was like way back in the day, maybe kind of little like a memoir, talking about his life and how, he used to sneak into gyms, and sleep there and then like just practice. So that way he could get more time, because he said that, if I don't do this and I don't sneak into the gym and I'm not practicing and I'm not shooting and going over all my skills, there's going to be somebody out there that is, and they're going to be better than me. So I really have always taken that to heart too, with work ethic and everything. And, Bird, out of all like the old school players, out of like non-Blazers, yeah, he definitely is at the very top, if not at the top for me. Obviously, big Jordan and Magic fan too. So, but I mean, too many good players, to not name. I mean, hell, everyone was fun to watch. I mean, even if people they weren't your favorite, but you like, you knew that it was going to be good. When Karl Malone was in his prime, it was good. Barkley was good. David Robinson was good. Olajuwon was good. Ewing was good. So I mean, it was like exciting. It didn't really matter who was on. Like whatever team is on, there's probably going to be someone that is going to be a top 50 player on most of the teams out there. So now you look at the way things are. They don't build these NBA players like they, had built Kobe. The Jordans and the Kobe's, those guys are very special. And like I said, this NBA is nowhere near what it was, even just a few years ago. Let's go, Blazers, taking the lead. Well, of course, we already know, with how some of the reputation on things kind of go, like Jordan and Hollywood Hogan are two of like, people that may look up to them and whatnot. But outside of basketball and outside of wrestling, I've heard quite a few things that are not really that positive about either one. But again, no one knows what it's like to be them either. If you were actually Hogan and Jordan, ego aside and being like, the GOATs, but also being harassed all the time. So I think that, no one really understands unless you're them. But definitely some negative stuff for both of them. But I still got my Hollywood Hogan. I still got the Hulk Hogan figures and all that. And, I still got, the Jordan memorabilia also. Oh, what a layup. Let's go, baby. 49-45 Blazers. I have this really nice vintage Jordan jacket too. It's when I got it, it's a kid's like extra large. So for an adult size, it's probably like a medium to large. I mean, it's because it's they made them back like when they had Chalk Line and Champion and starter jackets and stuff. And these ones were so cool when they made them in the 90s, right? They actually have player image on the jackets. So if you end up finding like an old Clyde Drexler or Olajuwon or Barkley or a Barry Sanders, some of those original jackets they'll go for $300, $400, $500, $600 just because they're so rare and they're amazing looking. I'll show you the Jordan one that I got over here. It's incredible. Oh yeah. I mean, obviously, we know Magic is the businessman, got a lot of his businesses in the movie theaters and obviously with the Dodgers and many other businesses. So Magic has always been, money, money, money in business. So, and then obviously we know with Bird going into coaching and, kind of GM work and being involved in franchises, like Indiana after he got out and whatnot. So, Matt in the building, what's good? But I like the old school vintage stuff. Like if eh, the old school champion, the old school, starting lineups for the figures, the chalk line stuff, the starter jackets. I just, go back in that era. Good. I hope I kept you busy today. Fucking, I watch the Senior Bowl practices in the morning because I'm insane like that. That's what I do on NFL Network, and then I ended up sending you a few different little links of either highlights or information based on recruiting and how things are going for us. Nice reverse layup there by Giannis. 51-50 Blazers. But yeah, the Blazers recruiting is all the way now up to number 3, and it will be a legit possibility that Oregon will be talked about on the highest level that you can talk about a college football team, not in the SEC. Like, normally, Ohio State and Michigan get all the love, and then it's like Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, Michigan. That's like the Final Four. Those are like the top dogs. Now, Oregon and Texas are going to be getting some of that love and that pub with Ohio State, Alabama, and Georgia. So, and then Michigan will fall down a little bit, but if they can get, the right coach, maybe they'll get back to where they were with Harbaugh. But without him, the recruiting definitely won't be the same and they won't be as good. And Oregon will take their spot because we will. So, it's really going to be between Ohio State and Oregon, I feel, every year. And that's saying something to be able to come into someone else's conference and pretty much be like, we're going to be a top 3 team moving forward. And that's how it's going to be. As long as we got Dan Lanning and the recruiting is good, we are going to be a top 3 in the Big Ten. Our goal every year is to win the Big Ten. Yeah, Ohio State and Michigan, they have owned it because they've been there, but we're just as good as them. And we believe it. So, and the recruiting is showing that we can be even better than them recruiting wise. That's saying something where you can end up being right there with Georgia and Bama at the very top, even ahead of Michigan and Ohio State in recruiting. Then you're really doing something special. So yes, there's probably going to be some bad losses. Yeah, there's going to be probably some embarrassing playoff losses, but it feels like if we can keep Dan Lanning for the next 10 years, I would say there's a good chance for at least one natty in 10 years. I think that's being fair, and maybe 2. And if everything goes great for Dan Lanning, how about 3? And if we can get there that many times, hopefully we can win at least one against somebody, Ohio State or Georgia or Bama or Texas or whoever it is. And that is an exciting time where, after Chip Kelly, I don't know if us Oregonians or Blazer fans and Duck fans thought that we would ever like be this good again. And it's kind of nice to feel that like we're in a position with the NIL, the money, Phil Knight, Nike, uniforms, helmets, squad, vibe, transfers. We're building something special. Our coach is staying. Everyone else is leaving. Like, we're more desirable than Ryan Day in Ohio State. Who would have thought? And then Alabama doesn't have the same type of love anymore because Saban's gone. Same thing with Michigan and Harbaugh. So really, it's Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon. But now it's probably Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State, Texas. Like based off like would you want to go and play ball? You know what I mean? Because the Alabama, you're not guaranteed to make the NFL anymore if Saban's not there. Michigan with Harbaugh, it's not the same. I mean, they'll still be probably all right, but they're going to go down. So it's like you got Georgia with Kirby Smart, Lanning, number 2 with Oregon, right? Ryan Day at Ohio State, and then obviously Sarkisian with Texas. And even Texas is getting to a point where they might even beat Ohio State and be number 3, be right there with Texas, Oregon, Georgia. So, and then maybe even Georgia slides down a little bit. Maybe Texas and Oregon go to the top. So I like where we're at, and you need to make sure you get yourself a job. You got to get yourself an iMac. You got to get yourself better internet, a microphone, so that way when we end up doing college football next year, you're ready to go. Or at least have something like some type of setup where if you actually hopped on with me, while I did Ducks games, that you're not lagging, making my stream look like shit. Like, as long as like I can hear you, and you can obviously work to get a better microphone or whatever, but you know, you have an internal mic you can use through your computer, but it's not going to sound very good. But there's little things to get yourself so that way that I can do the play-by-play and the color. But if you got some good information and you want to be my color guy, there's no one else that's got the duck information like you and me. So you know, if you want a goal, I don't know how many YouTubers out there would tell someone in the chat, let alone someone that's earned their way up to being a mod and going that route. But I mean, I'm gonna have people on the show from time to time, but not just anybody, and also, if you have that connection and you show me how dedicated you are to whatever it is that we're doing, like the Ducks, because for you, the Ducks is number one. For me, it's my number one. The Ducks are ahead of Tampa. It's ahead of, like NFL stuff is great. And I love it. I love it, love it, love it. But, with college football and the Ducks, that's like my number one. It's like that, NFL at the very top as well. And then AEW, WWE, those are always going to be up there. Mariners, with the baseball, Kraken with the hockey. But definitely college football, NFL is always going to be at the very, very top. And of course, wrestling. Yeah. Well, and obviously the gambling problem and other things that he had. But I mean, when you hear these younger cats, and younger generation, talk about LeBron and KD and Luca, and they don't realize that, in the 80s and 90s when we had the 92 Dream Team, like you could assemble any, amount of players. It doesn't matter who it is, and they play against that 92 Dream Team. You are getting fucking smoked, and you're probably losing by like 50. That's how good that team fucking was. And then, they even had Christian Laettner on that team, which should have been Shaq, but they put Laettner on there after he ended up, making history and hitting the game winner, for Duke back in the day. So it was a cool generation to grow up in. And I really do appreciate certain guys that are playing now, like Luca. That's probably my favorite player that's non-Blazers that, like, I know that I can watch and he'll put in the effort and he's incredibly skilled. And obviously, Joker and Embiid are great for big men, but I don't have that same connection like I did with Olajuwon and Robinson with those guys. Giannis is a freak. What can you say? He's amazing, right? One of the best players in the league, if not the best, right? And then obviously Steph Curry, always love to be able to watch someone like that, or Dame, bust out the threes. But it's just like there's not enough superstar power in this league. Where's the Kobe? Where's the Jordan? And obviously we know LeBron and KD are getting old. It is cool that we have Wemby though, so at least I'll give him that. That Wemby is exciting because he's doing things that Bol from Oregon and Manu Bol's son, they thought he would be able to do, and Bol only does like a fraction of what Wemby does. Like he's just not as athletic enough to do the Wemby stuff. 55, 51 bucks. Come on, Blazers. I know I saw that. I was talking with Air Whitey, about it. We were talking about Jackson Powers for Jordan Love if the Packers decided to go for a center. I was like, dude, that would be probably the most brilliant thing because I think Jackson Powers not only is going to be a starter, he'll be a Pro Bowl or All Pro within the first 2 years, and if he stays healthy, I think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame like Penei Sewell. I think those are generational players that you can get at guard, tackle, center, and as of the last few years, we're starting to put like amazing talent, in our doors and developing them to be not only like the best now, but one of the best in the team's history. And that's where the Oregon program is going. So to feel like we're on the cusp of winning a natty and maybe we can end up winning one or two in the next 10 to 15 years, that is probably the most exciting thing for me in sports. Because I've already seen the Blazers won before I was born, right? And Mariners, we've never won, so Mariners would be great, but they never spend money, right? But the Ducks winning would be really, really big. I think the Ducks and the Mariners winning would probably be the most exciting for me in my life. So 55, 53, Milwaukee. Damn, nice jumper. Come on, Blazers. Well, the thing is now there is no, necessary loyalty anymore. No loyalty from the players, no loyalty from the coaches. And if you actually do get the loyalty, it means a hell of a lot more now because if you know you're going to go to a college instead of having to go one school and then the coach dips and then I got to transfer and go to another. Like if you know that if you're going to be at Oregon, right, and we are one of the best programs now, and you turn down Alabama, you ain't going nowhere. The only place that landing would go is Georgia. So as long as Kirby Smart is there, we're going to be maybe the top two programs. And then even if Kirby Smart does leave, maybe Lanning stays. Maybe we get Lanning for 10 to 15 years and we get longevity like Mike Bellotti. And if we get that, yeah, that's when you end up winning multiple natties. But I just don't know if that will happen. And obviously, if they decide to fire Kirby Smart, if Georgia starts going downhill, that's the first guy that they're going to try to lure. So not only did Alabama try getting them, Georgia, obviously being the D coordinator and winning natties there, hey, come back home. But it all depends on how loyal Dan Lanning really is. So. Here we go. Nice little hook shot by Jeremy Grant. 58-57. Blazers up by 1. I like it. But that's going to be more lucrative because players can be like, whatever, this coach is going to dip or whatever. But when they know the stability is there with the coaching staff, not only that, but Nike and the jersey, different uniform combos, they get to keep the stuff. Like, a lot of these other ones, they're not keeping all their stuff and then maybe only have like a couple combinations. I mean, a lot of these Duck players are getting like mad clothes and a lot of stuff that they can keep afterwards. And lots of lucrative, different things for them, locker room, coaches, vibe, fan base. And obviously I think people are starting to notice that if there's a team that's close, like Ohio State and Oregon, and Texas, like you can feel it like, yeah, if the SEC is no longer king, right? Even if you got Georgia and Bama, there's going to be some openings. And if you want to be one of the top 5 teams, you got to make sure you got the money and you got the right pieces in place. And it feels good that I feel that we're in the right place at the right time now. Mm, I agree. Yeah, transfer portal is going to be crazy, but now it shows you as far as college football is concerned, recruiting like over and over and over and over for that star 5-star quarterback. You don't got to do that shit anymore. You don't have to be fucking so much like as a beggar. Beg, 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 beg. Please, Arch Manning, please, beg, beg, beg. You don't have to do that anymore. Oh, you don't want to come to our fucking school? Fine, we'll find another one. Or we're gonna get a transfer from fucking this school from Colorado. Like you're still gonna recruit, but you don't got to beg as much because there's going to be so much competition that even if you don't get that number 1, number 2 quarterback out of high school, who cares? Yeah, that guy might be good. Maybe he's not, but there's no guarantee that he stays at that committed school from high school to that first year and he stays his whole career there. You might be able to get him. So you don't got to beg as much. And if you end up getting the Arch Manning, who's to say that, there's a Dylan Gabriel that comes over and then we might even play him over like an Arch. So it's pretty crazy to see where college football is going, and it's definitely there's going to be positives and negatives once we expand, and go with more teams. But more teams, more games, more money, and hopefully they're going to be more competitive. We don't want to have a bunch of games where no one's playing in the game, and that's kind of what we got this bowl season. Like a lot of the bowl games were not very good. You gotta write them. You gotta they have everything set in stone. For those particular set dates. But it would make more sense to do it like that. But maybe you need to read deep dive and understand why the dates are the way that they are. Who put those dates there? Obviously, the competition committee and the NCAA. But why there's a certain timetable that they're obviously you know and maybe that's just been the same way that all the old heads have put together for years and years and years, so no one's questioned it. Dame with the jumper is good. 61, 61. At least we're hanging tough. But I haven't felt this way about Oregon, since the Chip Kelly era. So it feels like, things are really starting to, go up another level. And then like losing certain players, like Bo Nix and Bucky Irving in years past, that would have been really bad for us. But now it's like not a big deal. Like we know that they were amazing pieces and Troy Franklin, but we can reload within 1 year and then also have those guys on the bench step up and also guys from high school step up. And then other guys that decide to go through the portal step up. So it's like, you just have to have enough practices and games in to gain chemistry with all of the new wave of players. And Oregon is going to become the number one destination, I feel, in college football. It'll be, the West Coast Alabama or the West Coast Georgia. Like you either want to go to Georgia on the East Coast or Georgia on the West Coast. So I'm hoping that that's kind of what we're turning into. Yeah, let them know. They need to figure it out. I guess if enough people bitch and complain, maybe they will move the date. But if it's not affecting them directly and they're just making money, then why would they change it? So it's all about, the big boys and the money. 62, 61 Blazers. Smash the like button. And hopefully we can get a couple people to show some love. Nobody wants to eat air for dinner. Less than 2 minutes to go. 63, 61 Blazers. Damn dollar. Oh, I ended up finding some. I found a bin of my collectibles. Lots of wrestling, baseball, basketball, football, like all of the above. But I found that Montana freeze frame, and I sent a picture to Odin where it's got Joe Montana in Notre Dame in one pose, in the Niners in another pose, and then the Chiefs in the last pose. So it's like kind of like Notre Dame, and then the follow through is like 49ers, and then the Chiefs one is like Joe Montana doing the touchdown symbol, all in one box set from like '98. It's always cool when you can come across shit like that. I found a couple Darth Mauls from the Star Wars. And I found that Stone Cold Japanese Stone Cold that I was telling you about, the one that actually has the beer cans and the beer, and you can pose it where like the beer is coming out of the beer can, where it looks like he's slamming the beers. It's like I think the only wrestling figure that actually has beer cans and beer, that's attached to the beer can in like a figure that you can buy. They obviously don't do that here with like WWE or WWF figures or AEW figures. So pretty cool. Yeah, so I was kind of nerding out on a lot of the collectibles that I've been digging through. Stone Cold. Yeah, there's been a few guys that have won the Rumble twice. Cody. Cody won it twice. Stone Cold won it twice. And I believe there's maybe one other wrestler that's done it twice. I think there's three total, three or four. But you have to go back and look in the internet and look up. Yeah, is that the three? Hogan, Cody Rhodes, as of recently, and then Stone Cold. Are those the only three? Because I mean, I'm pretty good with memory and with my wrestling knowledge is pretty good, but my gut kind of says those are the three, but there's no more than four because I mean, two times is a lot. A lot of guys don't even win it once, so to win it twice is pretty special. Like WWF, WWE does not do that normally. Like you have to be a generational talent for that. So. Won it twice. See, there you go. So was it four? Or maybe the question is if they won it back to back rather than twice. That's probably another question. Yeah, I like vintage wrestling photos too. That come up on my timeline. Free throw is good by Dame. 67, 65 Blazers. Let's go, baby. Had a feeling the energy would be pretty good. And that's, if I was like, if I do the stream, maybe they'll actually play pretty good. And they are. So Dame Dollar, free throws good. Halftime, baby, 67, 65. All right, you guys let me know what you guys want to do for photos. And whatever you guys want, you let me know. I got you. $67, $65 halftime. All right, let's just show some photos here while we're waiting. We're going back with the Bird and the Magic. Bird, baby. I remember when I was doing Mitchell and Ness jerseys, I would definitely do the white, Celtics or the green. There's not many jerseys that I would normally wear that aren't like my team stuff, but definitely for throwback white Celtics jersey. Oh yeah, sign me up, dude. I could. And the Mitchell and Ness Birds are just like any Mitchell and Ness, like a regular Nike or Adidas jersey. Like when you put a Mitchell and Ness one on, or like one of the authentic one, it's like it feels like you're wearing like 4 or 5 jerseys. That's how much weight is in those jerseys with the better quality. And you definitely feel like a rapper when you have one on. You feel like a millionaire when you're wearing one, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, or hockey. I don't know what it is, but once you put one of those Mitchell and Ness jerseys on, you feel like different, like instant, like swag adjustment. We'll do some wrestling photos. I gotta hit you with some Bird though. Love me some Larry Bird, man. They don't make Larry Bird. Oh, hey, Jordan. Yeah, but that Stone Cold figure, like out of like, I don't know how many hundreds that I have, and most of them are obviously in the package and whatnot, but that one is definitely by far my favorite one. Japanese Stone Cold. And then not only that, it comes with 4 interchangeable heads. Normally you get 1 or 2, like the standard head on the figure, and then maybe like another pose or a expression. But this one's got 4. It's got a couple different sets of hands and belt and all this other stuff. But the best part is the beer can and the beer, and then you can switch the hands and then pose it like and then they got one where he's got the middle finger. It's just the little subtle details in toys and figures and other things like sports cards. I'm always looking for that weird, rare, different thing, but it was very cool to find that Stone Cold. I remember I ended up getting it at Toys R Us before they went bankrupt, and I remember they only had a few of them, but I went through to find like the best condition one, because even a figure at like $50 or $60, if the box is damaged, you're still going to get $40, $50. But if you get a mint package one and you buy a $50 figure, there's going to be someone that will offer you, $75 to $100 or maybe even more if the box is mint, just because that's how it goes. Condition is everything. A $50 figure, could be a $100 figure if you know where to go. And like the one that I have, I definitely would drop a C note, but again, I went through like the last, I think 3 or 4, and all the other ones have punch corners. So it's always cool when you can end up finding gems like that. I've never taken it out of the package, and I don't think I will, but it'd be cool if I could like buy another one and then have it displayed. Yeah, and then now it's all with him and his cat and on the socials. I love all his shows. You know, I like his personality. Like, it's like I've always enjoyed Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Stone Cold, but I feel like, Dwayne Johnson, he's kind of, has to say this, has to say that, try to be positive in the public eye. Maybe he'll be running for president one day, action star, movie hero, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone. So I feel like some of his responses aren't always fully genuine, but I feel he's like the hardest working guy in Hollywood, and I love him. Same birthday, he's my brother, 10 years older than me, exact same birthday, So, I don't know what it is about that date with me and Pat McAfee and The Rock, but, guys that can spit on the mic, right? But I feel like with Stone Cold, I relate to him a little bit more. I think a lot of people did, with the argument with the boss, and then just who he is outside of wrestling. He just seems like a very well-rounded, not judgmental, will give things a shot, give people a shot, and just like an overall good dude that you would want to be like your friend or someone that you would know. He seems like he really enjoys life, and also I can respect the outdoors. And whenever I see someone that is loves it, it makes me want to be like, damn, it'd be really cool to be able to go to that ranch and hang out and ride quads or go fish. And I know some people think that's dumb or they wouldn't do that, but until you've actually done stuff like that, you don't realize how cool that lifestyle is. It's like if you do the city life, or if you can actually do the other things, and you have right people around you, you can have just as much fun doing that, if not more, than clubbing or going to a sporting event or something else. I envy the ranch. Don't go Steve Austin, baby. Yeah, hell yeah. Other things in wrestling, you're never going to see a Stone Cold, and you're never going to see a Rock ever again. I mean, think about how great they were in the ring, right? With their theme songs, microphone skills, and in the ring. I mean, you don't hear pops really like that anymore. Maybe Cody Rhodes and his, theme song, and whatnot. But I mean, Cody Rhodes ain't Stone Cold. Cody Rhodes ain't Rock. I mean, I'm glad that we have someone like that they built up coming over from AEW, but not only in the professional sport world, things were better in the 80s and 90s, but again, and we're not even bringing up NWO or DX yet. Golly. It was an undefeated time to be alive. And you could argue that this is a lot of people have the Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart has the best feud, but you could also argue Rock and Stone Cold, because obviously the Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels stuff is eternal for people in the 80s, and this is the 90s version. So it's you're going from one era to the other. So Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart are the Niners in the 80s. You're just winning everything. And then maybe Rock and Stone Cold are the Cowboys of the 90s, where it was them. And there was nothing that was touching that besides NWO and DX, as far as factions. But as far as one-on-one, pretty special. That sounds good. So a few more minutes for halftime. a couple minutes to go before we get in from halftime. Let me know what you want to see. I'll throw it up. Good stuff, man. Shout out to all the people watching on Twitter/X, as well as the people in the room. And make sure you're taking care of your mental health. You only have one. Take care of yourself. In a bad spot, come in here. Hang out. We'll make things a little bit better. 67-65. Blazers with a 2-point lead. Unbelievable. Well, at least that they're playing. And it's entertaining enough. Like, obviously, I'd rather do NHL than do the NBA, but this is like a special circumstance. Dame's first time coming back, then that is right up there with anything on the NBA scale, as far as for me to be able to watch. So, 2024 NBA All-Star festivities in Indy. Sarah, you're going, right? And they are going east-west, back to that format because they heard me complain about it. I kept telling them that stupid Team LeBron, Team Giannis shit was stupid, and they should just go back to what was the history, East and West, and make it worth something. They should have them play defense, and whoever ends up winning the game, not only do they get some dollar amount that they can do for themselves or charity, they should get the home court advantage. Like they got to give it like how they do it with like baseball. Whoever wins National League, American League, they get the home field. They get that extra game for that format to favor them if you win, so that way no one's lazy. I get it. Alley-oops are cool in the NBA All-Star game, but after you've seen the 10th one in the first quarter, it's not as cool anymore. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's not negative. Why do you think I bring it up all the time? Sometimes, things are tough. Like I said before, I was able to do this job, full time. There was other jobs that I've had, with depression, with anxiety. It's tough, to get into a rut and then still, try to have like dreams and goals and have 2 jobs, have 3 jobs, try to do this and trying to get myself to the point where I can go full time and go all in and, do what I want to do and do what I love instead of just working for someone else or some other company and hating it and whatnot. But yeah, there's moments where I remember I ended up getting fired from one job and it put me into a fucking spiral around that COVID time where I wasn't able to see family or friends. And then, I fucking was like bedridden for like 3 weeks, almost a month, and it's like, get food from the kitchen, but never leave the house, never go outside, stay in bed, probably way too much, oversleeping, probably being in bed for like 16 hours of a 24-hour day, just like, going to the bathroom, probably showering, every couple days when I normally would do it every day, sometimes twice a day, but, sometimes, when you're in a funk like that, hell, you'll go a day, maybe 2, hell, you might go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. I mean, if you get in a fucking rut, you're not in a good mental place. So sometimes you got to be able to talk about stuff like that and know that regardless if you see me and you see me as a streamer, on YouTube that does sports and wrestling, but it's all about being able to connect with real things, that are going on that everyone can relate to. not just things that I can relate to. So this is not only a place where we can, have these ball games and do reaction videos but the big part of it is, being able to connect and being able to have somewhere where we can express, positive and negative thoughts and just being able to vibe off each other. I think it's really important to have that continuity and chemistry. Like some people are on Twitch and they got that community. Some of it is going to be good, some is toxic with the gamers. Right? You're going to get on YouTube. You're going to get with the streamers. You're going to get some toxic people, some troll, and you're going to get some good quality people where you can get some good quality relationships and friendships and whatnot. So, because it's not like you're going to be able to spend time with friends that you live with in your hometown state or city all the time. So, you've got to be able to find a place like this and just go and hang out. Nick's realist in the building. What's good? John Starks in the building. Charles Oakley in the building. Patrick Ewing in the building. Rolando Blackman in the building. Anthony Mason in the building. Derek Harper in the building. Rashawn Salam, yeah, I remember him. Colorado. Dude, there's a lot of people, if you just paid attention in sports, even with Len Bias, when you go back and look at photos or if you see something on your timeline on Instagram or Twitter/X, and then if something, gets shared or it ends up in your timeline and you see stuff, or people that have passed that, could have been, what could have been, I always think about Reggie Lewis. What could have been? Len Bias. What could have been? Just a couple Celtics guys, and then a few other, players that, you're thinking oh, Brandon Roy, what could have been, and his knees, didn't go from rookie of the year, all-star, and then going to the Timberwolves and then knees exploding, no fucking cartilage, and then career over. Brandon Roy had a chance to be because when he was playing, he was number 2, number 3 shooting guard with Kobe. So it's not like Roy was crappy. Roy was one of the top 12 players, top 10 to 12 players that were playing in that little short period. Oh, Giannis with the flush. Anthony Mason, that was my dude. Anthony Mason reminded you of Debo and Friday. He made a little bit of a crooked eye, but big ass muscles. Guy wearing the white beater type of tank top shirt. You don't fuck with Anthony Mason. He was one of my favorites in the Knicks era when I used to watch Bulls and Knicks games. I got lots of the cards, lots of the memories. That's why I feel that, if you do a lot of reading and you do a lot of game watching, Dame for 3, but also me being able to remember those memories. And of course, me being a little bit older, definitely helps. I feel like I want to be a student of the game in every single thing. So to try to be an expert, on the NBA, the MLB, the NFL, the NHL, college football, wrestling, it's fucking insanity. And it's not about being right and other people are being wrong. It's just trying to remember as much as we can as a group, and going back and not forgetting about those players and that history that, because there's all kinds of recency bias, for what we see now. But what about the shit that you didn't see or the shit that was hyped up that could have been oh my God, and sometimes you'll have, things that happen to people, they OD or they die or they have a heart attack or something bad happens to them, and potential is definitely missed. Yeah, you need to fuck with Oak. Allen Houston. I mean, I don't need to keep name dropping, do I? I can name drop any team forever. I'm not even on Google. I don't got a stack of cards in front of me. I got no paper. I got no intro. I literally have never had anything written down besides the early years on the channel when we would do a reaction video and I would break down stats. Other than that, I mean, everything's on the dome, baby. Oak is a G. Walt Frazier. Now you're going old school. Fucking good old Phil Jackson. I mean, you're going back old. But obviously, my favorite was, the one that you got to watch with Ewing. It was amazing. John Starks and Patrick Ewing, Oakley, Anthony Mason. It's they were a bunch of hood guys. You don't fuck with them. It was like kind of like the Bad Boys, but different, like New York style. It's like how you have New York rap and you have rap from the other boroughs, but then you also have rap from other areas. So obviously, it's like you got like Nas, you got Jay-Z. It's different. So you're either gonna like one, you might not like both. Maybe you like one more than the other. But I just it all depends on that vibe. But that Detroit vibe and the way they did it, the ultimate dirty. I feel the Knicks weren't dirty, but if you wanted to fight them, they would fight you. And when you are that type of team, they're fun to watch, and I think that's why lots of teams lost to Detroit and New York, and obviously then you had Bulls and Jordan and Pippen and Phil Jackson in that era. So the East was crazy back in the day. Free throw is good. Yeah, Latrell Sprewell. Fucking PJ Carlesimo, get over here, bitch. And PJ was fucking the Blazers coach. I hated that guy. That was like Seton Hall, good coach, but kind of a hothead. No one liked him. We didn't like him in Portland. And I could see why we're fucking Spree. And then Sprewell did his rims, and that was like when MTV Cribs was going on. Your boy's got a good memory. And then Sprewell was selling the rims like 20s and 22s, 18s back in the day, to like celebrities and other normal people, right? And then I mean, there was some fucking bullshit that was said too, because PJ had a condescending fucking tone about him where he would like talk down to everyone. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Mexican, Asian, like talk down. And I guarantee that's what happened. And Spree was like, fuck you, and then took the shit out of him. Oh, Brogdon with the layup. And then like the old school, team that I remember back was like Spree, but even before that was like the Tim Hardaway with the Run TMC, and then and then you got the Tim Hardaway, you got the Chris Mullin, and you got the Mitch Richmond, then you got the Chris Webber, and then you got the Billy Owens. Yeah, Knicks did get unlucky. Starks was my guy. Fucking baseline, like underdog, but like you could tell. And I think like Starks was one of those guys. Like he was an underdog, but he was better. He was never going to be a Michael Jordan, but for what he was pound for pound, kind of like a Steve Smith. Like pound for pound, you're a tiny guy, but you play like you're 6'5", and you know that like you can throw down. Like what I mean. Like if you want to square up, you want what I mean. Like he's going to do everything as a bigger player would. And he played a lot bigger than his size, and I respect that. And I think you either watch basketball and you can recognize those Steve Smith guys on the Panthers and the Ravens, or guys like Starks, and either get it or you don't. But again, it just depends if you watch sports and recognize the size of the dog. You know. Oh man, Georgetown, Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe Mutombo, AI. Oh, no flex zone. Brunson is a dog. Mavs are like, we'll get rid of you. What Knicks fans need to realize, everything is going to be based off the ownership, right? Which they know, ownership, right? And then the head coach. And once you get that figured out, that's when they're going to start winning, because then you'll be able to get the right players and actually build something like they built with Ewing back then. But if you don't have the right owner and the right coach, it's never going to happen. And I think Knicks fans already know that. They don't. It's not like something they don't want to hear. They've already known this for a long, long time. But Patrick Ewings don't grow on trees. And then not only that, to get the right Anthony Mason, Starks, and Oakley, and and Derek Harper, like you brought all the dogs together and it just worked. Just like with the Blazers, we had Terry Porter, Clyde Drexler, Jerome Kersey, Buck Williams, Kevin Duckworth, Cliff Robinson. It was perfect. Like every guy did something special in their own way that made you love them. It's like this guy might not be able to shoot threes, but he's a dog. He can get rebounds and block shots. Like every guy was different. And I feel like in the NBA in the 80s and 90s, the role players and the jobbers were better. So, like even guys that, like Dale Ellis, Hersey Hawkins, like, people don't realize if those guys played today, they would be a hell of a lot better than what you remember them being against like Jordan and like Larry Bird and Magic. Like even the role players, I mean, There's a reason why the NBA games were scoring like 150 to 190, and sometimes it wouldn't even be in overtime. Like now to get over 150 to 190, you're in like quadruple overtime in the NBA. Like there was games where you could almost be at 100 points at halftime. Like I don't think people realize the younger generation, like the level of ball and the level of talent that played in those 20-year period is so much higher than what's out there now. Yeah, there's still some phenoms like Giannis and Luka, but do you honestly think Giannis and Luka would be the best if they played with Jordan and Magic and Bird? Fuck no. They would be good, but they would be in the middle with like Karl Malone and Charles Barkley. Like you're good, but there's other guys that are better than you. That's how it was. Like Luka would have been amazing. Like Steph Curry back then, amazing, right? But it's like if you were watching how things were cooking back in the 80s and 90s, different type of game. I mean, obviously they still would have been phenomenal. I mean, could you imagine Steph Curry in the 80s or Luka in the 80s? I mean, he would fit in with all the other, European players and guys that passed early like Drazen. 77, 77 were tied up. But Drazen, Petrovic, man, I mean, what could have been with him? Lots of guys that, could have been really, really special. Dame from deep, in and out, no good, over the backboard. Oh, I love Porter. Porter, was that guy. Like I always liked Porter and Rod Strickland and Kenny Anderson. Like, there's certain point guards that, like, if you look up in a dictionary what a point guard is supposed to do, Clyde was the glide, so he would get the threes and the dunks and glide in the air. He would be all around. But Porter was a really good ball handler, great at free throws, great at threes, great at setting up guys like Buck Williams and Kersey and Duckworth and Cliffy. It didn't turn the ball over. It was an amazing backcourt. Like, even though Porter never got the notoriety as being one of the best in the world, but, if you go back and look at those Blazer teams, some of those guys made at least an all-star game, like Duckworth, Porter, and I feel very underappreciated. But, yeah, I love me some TP. Oh, offensive foul in the Blazers. What was that? Oh, of course he is. Big. Yeah. Yeah, but also it's the coaching, right? If you have a legend coach and you have something brewing special, and you're in a wave of recruiting centers, and and you're going to get this guy and this guy and this guy, and obviously AI, you think he would have decided to go to that particular place? Like there's a history and a pride, and Ewing obviously is huge, and then fucking Alonzo, and then Dikembe, and then fucking Iverson, It hasn't really been the same since then, but again, it shows you how important coaching, and that progression of that elite player deciding to go to that particular school. Yeah, but Larry was a better passer too, though. People don't realize the passing by Bird and Magic is a billion times better than anything in the NBA right now. And even when we had guys like Jason Kidd and Steve Nash, they could do some of the things like Magic, and also White Chocolate with Jason Williams. They could do some of the things Magic and Bird can do, but Magic and Bird would be doing like behind the back, no look, you know, like, they were doing that like two or three times a game, not once a season. Like that's the difference. Like the passing lanes and the awareness and knowing where your teammates are going to be and being flashy when you don't have to be flashy, especially in Bird's. Bird to me is the best passing forward and arguably one of the best passers ever. And he's not even a point guard. Magic was 6'9" point guard, but he pretty much could play guard, point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center like Kareem. Magic was the ultimate player because he could play every position perfectly. Even center. Found a way to get it done. But with like Bird, you're bigger. You're more shaped like a forward. You had back problems. You're not going to be as good of a dribbler as Magic, as a point forward. But if you watch Bird pass on the highlight reels, sometimes his passing is even better than Magic, and Magic is kind of known as being the best. And if Bird is doing better than Magic, what does that say about Bird as a forward? He might be the best passing forward besides LeBron James now ever. LeBron obviously is good, but he didn't do it like Larry did or like Magic. You don't see anyone doing dimes like that and one like the professor. hitting him with the white chocolate with the Jason Williams. Like, I need to see some creativity, a little street ball esque, you know. Hey, yo. But it's like, people can judge, but until you actually watch like the full scope of sports, you can only really gain an understanding of what things were. People are, some people are going to be biased because they grew up. And whenever you grow up in something, you think it's the best. You're like, my shit's better than yours because I grew up, but you have to realize not every era is going to be as good as the others, right? But people that grew up in the 80s and 90s, I mean, there's no debating. It's just, it is. Anthony Simons with 15. 83, 81 Blazers. Let's go. Oh, for me? Oh, man, it depends. What am I, an offensive coordinator or if I'm a defensive coordinator? If I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm going to be hella creative, and I want to, tap into, the Monty Kiffin, I gotta tap in there or tap into some like John Gruden, Chip Kelly, offensive craziness. Look it up. Give me some stats. Give me some stats. Look some stuff up for me. Look at points per game, assists, rebounds. Let's like. I mean, we're not doing too many basketball, streams. I mean, we'll do some, but obviously NBA streams are going to be this thing that we probably do the least on the channel. But we'll still do, them, especially if the NHL is off. So I live here in Oregon in the Pacific Northwest. So I've been doing this for 12 years. This is my 8th year on YouTube. I've been full time for 2. But Ducks, I live in Oregon, so Oregon Ducks. Mariners, because I met Griffey, when I was fucking 7 when he was a rookie. So Ducks, and then Mariners, Blazers, Kraken for NHL, and then Buccaneers. Because if I was a team, it would have been the Niners, but like I'm more of a defensive minded, fan. And so it's like I see things from that. So I'm more of like a linebacker guy, safety guy. So back in the Niners, in '94 when I was 12, they won their 5th championship. But I didn't want to be that bandwagon fan, like Patriot fans bandwagoning off Brady. And then if it didn't go well after, do you love this team enough for it to be forever if they don't ever win again? And it's like I'm more of a defensive guy, so I didn't want to hop on that wagon. But I waited one more year. And then Sapp and Brooks got drafted from the U in Florida State to Tampa. Lynch was already there. I already felt the connection with him when I saw him at Stanford and what he was able to do to knock guys around. And Mike Allstott, that's my kind of guy. Purdue, And so I was like, okay, this is a team that I can like back. And then I followed them since '95, since I was 13, and 2 Super Bowls, no losses. We're just like the Ravens, 2 appearances, no losses, and the first one obviously was amazing. The second one with Brady and Gronk was still kind of a dream. Like I still can't believe like we had Gronk and AB and fucking and Brady and Arians. Like everything just lined up perfectly. So yeah, but definitely not a Brady bandwagon or anything like that. But I didn't have a connection to the Seahawks. They didn't have defensive guys. The Niners, they had Dion in '94, but then he went to the Cowboys in '95. Now, if Dion would have stayed on the Niners, maybe I'm a Niner fan today, maybe. But I felt more of a connection to Sapp, Brooks, Lynch, and Rondé Barber, Allstott. Like that felt like who I was as a person, like intense. If they need to talk shit, they'll talk some shit. They back it up. They hold each other accountable, and you just knew that those were going to be some of the best players that ever played. That were like generational talents. Like you're never going to see a fucking Mike Allstott ever again. Like he made fullback cool. Like he made people choose the Buccaneers in Madden because he was cool and unstoppable. And then fuck, he even played halfback. Ooh, nice floater. Anthony Simons, baby. I like guys that know how to pass and like can do it with flair. Like I like street ball, like the professor. If you guys know and one and whatnot, he's from Oregon. Like he doesn't live like he only lives a couple towns over, or that's where he's from and whatnot. But I like to be able to see a little flair, in the game, and like it's like not necessarily like showing off, but like, do you have the skill set to like ooh and all the crowd and like to do a fancy pass, but not get benched if you fuck it up? Like there's just certain guys that can't do what the guys in the 80s and 90s could do on the regular. I guess I'm just blessed. I got to see it with my own eyes, when it was happening. Yeah, Jordan evolved though, and Jordan, wasn't a great defensive player early. Then he earned in that role, lost many, many years in a row before they made the playoffs. He had to lose, for like 6 or 7 years before he actually got a taste of it. And then committed to defense. But, with him, he was like Kobe. As they got older, they decided to, elevate their game and change their game. So instead of maybe taking as many outside shots or maybe going for dunks, maybe elevating yourself into a post game and a back down where you can hit them with the fadeaway. If you notice in both of those guys' careers, they were able to elevate their careers to another level because they kept adding pieces to their game, whatever that may be, a bank shot, in the post up. Some things like people don't really remember unless you actually were a fan and were watching back then. So yeah. But the thing is like when you have Phil Jackson, you have to understand that like that's one of the greatest coaches of all time. Not only did you end up having the Jordan Pippen era, and you had the first three, then you actually had the Jordan Pippen era with Rodman in the second three. But Horace Grant with the first three, and Bill Cartwright, and with Paxton and B.J. Armstrong and Stacey King, and then going to the second one, with Kukoc and Ron Harper, and then going from those two, and you're already getting like six, and then also bang, I'm going to go to the Lakers. Let me get some more, you know, and then you get to play Kobe and Shaq. So you got to play with what, three out of the top maybe 15 of all time, and then one that was like maybe a top 50 player and like Pippen. So that's a little ridiculous. Jason in the building. What's good? Patriots in the building. Yeah. Is that just rooting for the AFC team because you're AFC, or you think Patrick Mahomes is Tom Brady and you believe, or a dislike for the 49ers, or thinking that they won't be able to do it? Should be pretty exciting. Either way, we're going to get history. Either the Niners and Kyle Shanahan is finally going to get over the hump, and maybe it'll be one of many, Super Bowls, or Patrick Mahomes' legacy goes up another notch and gets closer to Brady. So it's a kind of a win-win situation as far as football is concerned. You know, like for me, it's like Patrick Mahomes' legacy gets one notch higher, or he ends up losing, and then the Niners finally get their due, and Shanahan finally can get over the 28-3 with Matt Ryan, the Jimmy G debacle, and then finally can get over the hump. And I can also, like I told you guys, with McVay and him, they're two of the best, and they're both going to win championships before it's said and done. They're way too talented of a brain to, not win one as long as the money and the organization is listening to the coach and they give that coach everything they need. And if that happens, guys like McVay and Shanahan are gonna, get you results. I mean, there's a reason why I like them the most. So I like intelligence, the due diligence, baby. You think so? And what's the difference? What's going to be the difference? Patrick Mahomes, the defense with Chris Jones, or could it be the thing that no one's talking about? The Kansas City Chiefs offensive line. If the offensive line plays the best, ding, 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 they can, right? You got to hold McCaffrey. You can't have McCaffrey go 3 touchdowns, 150 yards. But if he gets one or two and 100, you can still win. You know what I mean? Because they're going to have to get points somewhere. And what's their best chance of getting points besides Purdy? It's going to be McCaffrey on the ground or McCaffrey in the air. And then you just got to pray Debo or Ayuk or Kittle can also get in, so it can be a win for the Niners or close. Right? Not as many Moody field goals, right? I'm really excited about the opportunity to watch and do the reaction video, and And then obviously implementing my own image on the reaction video. We'll be doing that, and inserting the arrows and different shapes on there. So I feel that all the reaction videos starting next season are all going to gain more ground, and as long as I have all the tools to be able to do things. But that picture is a little old. It's from 3-4 years ago when I was like 60, 70 pounds heavier. But it's all good in the hood. It's a good one with me and the Derek Brooks jersey on, and then people can see that if they are unfamiliar with the channel, and they can say, what the fuck does this guy talk about, or talk shit, or put something in the comments. And, because it started off kind of slow, and it's picking up steam. It's kind of weird how reaction videos go, because, you'll have people that put them out right after NFL puts them out, and then you'll get other streamers that'll put them out a day or two after, just depending on what they're doing. But it started off a little slow, but it's gaining some steam, and it looks like it might end up getting to 2,000. It's climbing in the last day or two. So this sucks that they blocked the NFC one, because I know the NFC one would have been able to gain some ground. So, but we'll do that same kind of format, and then hopefully I can get someone that has a nice camera, and I can get a couple photos in, then I can transfer them to my computer, and then with the particular program, see if I can take the background out and I can use that. But I mean, if I have to use just that one for reaction videos, I think it's good enough size, and I can use my creativity to get people to find something to click on. 96-91 Blazers. We're actually winning, baby. The sports god's like, oh, he's wearing the Dame rookie jersey. So what's the deal, Matt? Are you gonna try to get a job, a computer, microphone? Are you gonna try, bro? I think you really should. I wouldn't tell you to do these things, and I think that you should try to figure out, have some goals set in place. Even if you have to work at like a grocery store or something, just like a local bodega jump off store, like whatever it is, whatever store it is, don't matter. Target, whatever, grocery store. Start stacking those chips, dude. Stack the chips, get the computer, right? Get the microphone, get the better internet, boom shakalaka, Ducks games. And then not only that, if you end up doing that, you'll probably be doing the other college games that I'm doing too. Motivation, brother. See, that's why you and me, we get each other, because it's about the analytics and the statistics and going deeper with the information than the average person to understand the best, that you can, to be able to succeed at whatever you're doing. It's not just black and white. Sometimes there's gray area, and sometimes you got to be able to do that more deep dive and research. So I get that. Caden's like, oh, I need Brogdon with the points, or my parlay is fucked. That's why it's funny with this channel too. We'll always get the betters on the channel, because they know I do everything. So they know I do NHL. They know I do, the NBA. They know I do college football and the NFL. So it's like, no matter what, if they got a parlay going, I'm going to be a part of the parlay. Yeah, they'll let me know. We'll see. No guarantees. NHL All-Star Game, doing it. Toronto. Drake will be there probably. Shit, I wish I was going. 96-91 Blazers against Dame and Giannis. We're literally one of the 5 worst teams in the NBA. Bottom 5 with the Spurs. Blazers. We're terrible. Terrible in Charles Barkley voice. Matthews is going to go off during the All-Star break. Man, I can't wait. I can't wait for the NHL All-Star game, and I can't wait for the second half of the season to see, and I can't wait for the NHL playoff to see if we end up getting a new champion this year. Like, it feels like, who the good teams are, who the bubble teams are, who the terrible teams are, but like I said, there's always going to be that level of excitement of, seeing like what superstar player carries the team the furthest. And I'll be doing a lot of NHL action. It'll be getting to a point where it'll be some NBA, some college hoops during March Madness, but MLB games with Mariners, Dodgers, and other teams, and then also plenty of that as well. NHL, baby. Yeah, that's better. That's better than air. 22 points, 9 for 17 for Anthony Simons, not Anthony Hardaway. All right, come on, Blazers. Up by fucking 7. I love it. Let's go, Scoot. Let's go, baby. I'll tell you what, though, Blazer games are really fun. I'd rather go to a Ducks game for football or Hawks game, Kraken. Oregon Ducks obviously number one, but Blazer games are fun. The way that they have the seating and the building itself, it's a very, very cool environment. Even when we're a bad team, still mad support, mad love. We'll go. Nice layup. Frazier. Oh, Dame with the awkward pass there in the air. You got to commit, Dame. You're either going to shoot the three or you're going to pass it. You can't do it midair. Thibault, why are you shooting threes, Thibault? God damn it. Come on now. 98-91. Try to get this done. Obviously, if the Bucks lose, no one gives a shit. They don't care. Maybe Dame's pride's hurt a little bit because he wanted to win back in Portland. But we have really nothing to gain. But it'll be like a good we did it. Like a good effort game. Like if you're gonna get extended effort once all year, it's this game because Dame is coming back from the first time. Otherwise, if it wasn't a scenario like that, then we probably end up getting beat by 20 right now, maybe more. But even though we suck and we're bottom 5, with Wemby and the Spurs, there's potential. We're young, but we're athletic. So if we could get a couple free agents and have a couple good drafts, I could see the Blazers in maybe 2 to 5 years, depending on what we did and what we signed, and if we got lucky enough getting a phenom, maybe we could end up being a top 8 seed one day. But I can't see us being a top 4 seed anytime soon or being the best in the West ever. But at least being a competitor in the top 8 would be fun. And then, if we can ever get to being the 3rd or 4th best team in the West, then, you're like, okay, this is fun basketball. But, who knows if that'll ever happen. Let's go, baby. 101-91. Let's go. Oh, yes, sir. All right, we're going on the time machine. We're getting in the DeLorean already. Going back. Oh, baby. This is like the whole state, the whole Pacific Northwest. I mean, it's hard to describe what life was like in Oregon in a period when you go to 2 finals in 3 years. Even though looking to the bad boys in Jordan, Drexler was the second best shooting guard. He was right there. Jordan was the best. But Drexler, for a couple years, he was the number 2 guard right behind Jordan. Pretty special. Got lots of Drexler memorabilia. Oh, boy. Glide the glide, baby. Goat. You want to see some goat? Goat life. I mean, like, of course, like basketball is going to be my favorite thing. How could it not be? Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler. Are you kidding me? I mean, Drexler and King Griffey Jr. I mean, those were the things you looked up to. It was a good life living here in the Pacific Northwest. Oh, Clyde Drexler, fuck yeah. Jordan, like, we already know everyone hated Jordan back then unless you were a Bulls fan. It was just like, God damn it, like we can't get a fucking championship. And then obviously getting Griffey, and that was nice having that connection. Never forget the legends. Gang, gang. Banner even, or the ticker will even come off. Kobe, Reggie, Clyde, Michael, George, Pete, Harry. Right. 20. Let's do that. Go, baby. Frustrating Dame. George. Let's go. Fucking Pat Connaughton, former Blazer. We love him. Like I said, even though guys leave the Blazers, like we still root for the guys, especially if we liked how they played. I don't know if you guys are the same way, but like a lot of times when players leave, we're disappointed and there's no bad blood. Especially if they're just like a role player guy, and you like the energy they brought from what the limited playing time that they had. Did they do more positive than negative? And if it was yes, then you're probably going to root for them, Scoot. In and out, no good. Fuck. That board. Let's go, baby. It'll never be like this, but at least I got to see it. You either saw it or you didn't. Like the level of skill, that you were able to see, you would think that the skill and things would be better nowadays because of technology and diet and everything that's associated with access of, different, resources. Like you think that the athletes would be more athletic and more records would be broken and you're going to get the best athletes now. But they didn't even have the internet back then. And then you're getting guys in every single sport and every single level just being on a higher level than what we're seeing now. And we still see glimpses of guys that would fit in with Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux, like Alexander Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby. But how many of those guys are we seeing? Like you see McKinnon and you see, a phenom like Connor Bedard coming in, but it's like, you're not seeing a lot. Like, it takes a while for you to be able to find another, generational talent that could match up to like a Gretzky or a Lemieux. It shows you, I mean, these guys don't grow on trees, and what we had was something that's never going to be replicated ever again. And it's amazing, man. I wish there was a time machine. Bang. Game for 3. Carl with a K. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Of course. No one was gonna fuck with him, dude. You know what I mean? It was like it's like a Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason type of enforcer, but having an Anthony Mason body also, but also willing to be like more dirty and willing to engage and initiate contact, and also being incredibly gifted from the free throw line, jumpers, pick and roll with Stockton, and having an offensive defensive mentality as one of the top 50 to ever play the game. And then to get the guy that, if you looked up point guard in the dictionary, you'd probably find John Stockton in there. So, even though they weren't able to win, like they were two of the best together with their role players, like Mark Eaton and such, right? But it's not good enough because you ran into Jordan. So. We're at a commercial break. We're about to get started. Off the commercial break. Look at some of the photos that we've been browsing through. We never know what we're going to be able to talk about. But I'm always going to bring up amazing photos of HD 4K and bringing you back to the past. We might have to get into the DeLorean at one point or another, but it's worth it. And also, if your mental health is a little fucked, come here and we'll make things better. Take care of yourself. You only got one. Things are tough sometimes. Go somewhere where you feel appreciated. This was something else, man. Everything was so much bigger. And like NBA on NBC, if you ever listen to that intro, like it gets you hyped up for no reason. Because you remember sitting in front of your TV and how excited you were to watch Jordan or whoever they were going against. And at that time period, like the NBA at that time was must-see TV. And at this point, it's not that way. I mean, especially when baseball and NHL have, gotten quite a, kind of a pretty good improvement. And obviously, we already know NFL is NFL. Lakers, Knicks, Saturday. Paisley's in the building. You got to want it, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to put out that effort. You want something, you can't half-ass it. If you want to work and you want to get a computer, microphone, and you want to get that shit going, you got to have stuff that's going to motivate you. You're looking for a purpose. You're looking for a lane. You're looking for, something football related, something that you love and like to talk about anyways. Get your shit, man. Better internet in Hawaii. Get rid of that shitty internet. Get the good one. Get a job. Get a computer. Get a microphone. Right? Get all that shit. Then hop on with you for duck game. Go start the locker. There you go. Nice alley-oop. All right, we're going to give them some love. I do like the Bucks spinning logo. Let's get the likes up. Shout out to all the people watching on Twitter/X. This was a hot ticket for Blazer fans to go to. And we are one of the 5 worst teams in the NBA, 32-15 for Milwaukee, 14-33 for Rip City. But we obviously will play up to the competition and play down to the competition with the best of them in the NBA. So for Lillard coming in and us actually playing well, good. I mean, the fans have brought more energy and are more excited in this matchup than probably 99% of the matchups this year. Dame with a layup, uncontested. The Knicks. Lopez with the steal. Middleton. Fuck, Lopez for 3. Rebound, there we go. Yeah, I mean, this would be a big deal. I mean, obviously for Milwaukee, they don't give a shit. They already know that they're in it for the long term. They got Dame and Giannis, and if you got Dame and Giannis, you legitimately are a top 3 team in the NBA for every year that combination is together. So, you drop a few here and there, it doesn't matter. But for the Blazers, it's like this could be an emotional win. But if we're bottom 5, we need to stay bottom 5 to make sure that we can capitalize on the draft. Give us a better chance to try to get a diamond. To try to find another Damian Lillard, type of player, not necessarily guard, but guard, forward, center, whatever, but some kind of phenom It would have been really sweet if Wemby came to the Blazers, but just wasn't meant to be. I need a makeup for Greg Oden, and then doing that, instead of Kevin Durant, and then obviously the Drexler, and then deciding to go Sam Bowie over Jordan. So I need to be able to have some, things made up as a Blazer fan. Like if it wasn't the era of the centers, I mean Jordan and Drexler, like Jordan playing the two, Drexler playing the three, they definitely would have won a few championships. But it just wasn't meant to be. But Drexler ended up getting his with Olajuwon with Houston when they repeated after Jordan and his dad and that baseball, love that he had and tried to do that. And crazy, with Jordan, if you think about it, it's like don't make the playoffs for 6 or 7 years, then get better at defense and be like NBA first team. Give the most effort that you can, then dominate on both sides of the ball, and then just eliminate every other NBA legend from getting a title. But then doing three, and then doing the baseball thing, and then Rockets winning back to back. Anything is possible, and then the three-peat again after. So it kind of makes you wonder if Jordan's dad didn't get killed, right, and he doesn't do baseball, do the Bulls win 8 in a row? Or do the Rockets win at least one because they had Drexler, with Barkley and Olajuwon, or Drexler and Olajuwon, Vernon Maxwell, and Robert Ory, and Kenny Smith, the Jet, and having that well-rounded, Mad Max team that they had with a bunch of crazies on it too. Otis Thorpe. See, why the fuck do I remember names like that? But it's just, when you watch it, you remember. So Blazers, man, 107.99. Fucking go. Hey, thumbnail turned out good. So they were like, all right, if his thumbnail turns out pretty good, then I guess we'll try tonight. Okay. All right, Scoot, Scoot. I didn't want to put Shaden Sharp and whatnot, but he's injured. So, okay. Dame Dollar. Scoot, Scoot. Let's go. And a lot of Blazer fans in Oregon have been Blazer fans for a long time. It's kind of like wrestling. We know it's not going to be like what it was in the 80s and 90s for wrestling and for the Blazers, but if you're a real fan, you're still watching. Some people might not watch every game. Some might turn the game off at some point, just like any other fan base. But I mean, this is the worst that we've ever been in a long, long. I mean, we as a fan base, we are not used to being bottom five. Like we're used to being bad, but not like bottom five bad. So it's definitely a challenging time period, but sometimes you got to take one step back to go 10 steps forward if the organization can get the right free agent to come, but most don't want to go in the outdoors and have fun. Most want to go to the strip club and go to parties and whatnot, so they're going to the Lakers or the Heat, or the Knicks or, something like that. So not the ideal destination for maybe an NBA player, but MLB player, hockey player, and football player, yeah. But we'll see. And then I saw another thing that they were talking about locally, trying to get MLB baseball in Oregon. Like they're really pushing because we wanted to have the Portland A's, but then Vegas ended up, getting that. But they're like pushing for either an NHL, pro team down the road, but they want to do baseball first. And I think that we have the Winterhawks for hockey for the WHL, and it's pretty popular, but I don't think hockey would come here. But I think baseball, we would sell out. I mean, but it's like I'd still go to Mariner games. Coach's challenge. Smash the fucking like button. Helps with analytics and metrics. Shout out to all the people watching on Twitter/X. Dame Dollars, first game back and being traded. Coach's challenge. Let's go over some of the photos that we looked at during the commercial breaks, going back to different eras. Out of bounds. Play under review. The good old days. Come on, Blazers. And no Shaden Sharp, my favorite Blazer, is not even fucking playing. Been hurt for weeks and weeks and weeks. Because Sharp started off kind of like a Vince Carter type where it was like dunks, and that's like what you kind of knew you were going to get. But then when you get a player like Vince Carter or Shaden Sharp that evolves, and then all of a sudden, instead of just doing 360 windmills, they actually have a post-up game. They can do hook shots. They can do up and unders. They can do fadeaways. They can hit jumpers on the baseline or the sideline. They can even hit threes. Like you start to kind of like, wow, you start to appreciate the player a little bit more. And he was a six man, got thrown into the starting lineup because Simons got hurt. Like I feel like if he can stay healthy, that could be the Blazer that makes the All-Star game, down the road representing the Blazers. But he needs to stay healthy first. But he's fucking exciting. Giannis off the backboard, charging you. We need a Tatum type on the blade. Oh yeah, that would be nice. Or like a Rasheed Wallace type. I mean, there's a couple of types of players. I mean, we could benefit off all kinds of players. Zebo, Zach Randolph type of player, Rasheed Wallace type of player, Buck Williams, Jerome Kersey type of player. We need a lot. I mean, we got Scoot, and you got Jeremy Grant. It's like we got like lower named guys that try hard, but just the overall talent isn't good enough. The bench is definitely not good enough, and we don't have any superstars. So it's like if you don't got any superstars and you're playing with a lot of guys that are like B minus players, like how far can you really go? You're going to be a bottom five team, and at least the Spurs got Wemby. We don't even got that. So, but I mean, it is kind of a like we feel that even though it sucks right now, that things could get better. But until we end up getting that big free agent that says, yes, I want to come to Portland, then we're not going to believe it. Like the Mariners spending money, we're not going to believe it. Like, oh, we're never going to be in the running for like an Otani type of player. They just are cheap. So until like the Mariners spend money and the Blazers can land someone that actually appreciates like the Pacific Northwest and like what it has to offer, if that's what they're about, if we can get a superstar player that likes the outdoors, then boom shakalaka, come here. Let's go. 107, 101. Giannis, 24 points, 8 boards, 6 for 8 from the line, 9 for 15 from the field. The Greek freak. Yes. Drew gave them that defensive identity. They're definitely more about putting butts in the seats, and it's kind of like a showboating offense, or you're going to get a lot of splash on offense, but not a lot of accountability on defense. And if the game comes down to, a team that maybe doesn't have the offensive firepower right in the East, but that can lock them down a little bit, you're going to get an underdog that could beat the Bucks this year. I totally agree. Sometimes you can have the superstar players, but you don't want to get rid of identity players that can help you out with defense because defense is the hardest thing to do in the NBA. It takes the most discipline and the most effort. That's why people don't do it. They want to be able to dance around and do crossovers and have the ball in their hands. Everyone's going to put effort that way. Everyone remembers when they played sports growing up, all the effort was on the offense unless you had that desire, to go the extra distance, dive on floors, throw chairs on the basketball court like me. Bobby Knight Jr., do what you got to do. What's that? You don't worry about it. That's what happens. Oh, right there. Right to the chin. 109, 102. Rip City. Lopez from 3. Lopez from 3. Robin and Brooke have had a pretty good duo career when they were playing together. Obviously, one was a little bit more offensive. One was a little bit more loppy, but it wouldn't surprise me even with some of the defensive gaps with the Bucks. The Bucks are good enough with this roster to win it all. I mean, maybe not this year, maybe this year, but maybe not this year. But we'll see like what we end up getting in the East and West finals. You might end up getting a surprise team on the West or East or both. Ooh, nice hook. The answer is no. You're fucked in your parlay because we got like 437 left, and I mean, I guess it is possible, but I mean, you're asking a hell of a lot with 4 minutes left because half of the 2 minutes is going to be them having the ball. So you need to pray that Anthony gets an and one and makes his free throw, and then Brogdon gets a garbage point, rebound, and then maybe goes to the line and hits 2 free throws. And maybe we can win. Not looking too good, bro. The fucking likes up. Help your boy out. see what the reaction video is. I wish that NFC one didn't get blocked. That always sucks when they block it. It's climbing though. It was at 800, then 1,000, then 1,100, and 12, and then what is it at now? Over 1,800. So that looks like it'll hit over 2. Little breakdown of the AFC Championship game. All right, baby. All right, Scoop. Commercial break. Going back into the old days. Well, life was good here living in Oregon. If you're in the 80s or 90s, baby, you understand. Go. All right, baby. Gotta find a way. Shout out to all the people watching on Twitter/X as well as here in the room. Dala, I'll give them some love. I'm not a hater. I like their spinning logo. Giannis, the Greek freak. Who would you rather have if you were going to build a franchise for the people that are in the room? Giannis or Luka? Like, be honest. Like, based off, how old they are and what they've accomplished so far. Like, if you were going to build, who is the number one pick? Because I would assume those would be the first pick if you were going to build a franchise. But like, do you still go Giannis for all the old school people, or do you go Luka now and he's now the number one guy? Oh, nice jumper there. 113, 109, Blazers. Let's go. Giannis. Couple Luka, couple Giannis. I guess it just depends on what type of player that you like and what the style of play that you enjoy watching the most. Do you like the big man, power forward, center, Giannis, Joker, Embiid kind of style? Effort on offense and defense, or are you looking for more of like a splash, Kobe kind of like flashy player in like Luka? So I guess it just depends on your personality of like, do you like grit and offense and defense, or do you like kind of like the swagger and the Steph Curry kind of Kobe, where they got the swag and they're going to be making plays and putting up big dimes and big points. 113, 109, Blazers, game of the line. Luka, 4 years younger. Yeah. But is Luka ever going to achieve the same type of success as Giannis unless he leaves Dallas? Like, if Luka stays on Dallas, is Cubes gonna actually bring a couple superstars to play with him to get them over the hump, or is it never going to happen? You know what I mean? You don't want to have one of the best players in the NBA as a wasted talent and with no one joining him good enough to get over the hump and get over the top. Right? Because, if Luka wants to go down in the Hall of Fame and one of the greatest of all time, you're going to have to get at least a couple rings. At least 2. I'm not sure if you're going to get that in Dallas or if, and I don't know if Dallas would ever want to get rid of him because they know he is the Dirk Nowitzki of this generation, but maybe better. So it's like, if Dirk can do it, you better do it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, even pre-Kyrie, like, I never saw anything with the team. It's like almost like Trout on the Angels. Like, no matter what I saw with Trout, I'm like, this team ain't winning shit. Like, you got a couple players, Ohtani and Trout, but it's like, is this team ever good enough with pitching and the collection unit to actually win it all? You're like, fuck no. Like, I think a lot of us are like that. You recognize the superstars, but when they don't got enough talent around them or coaching, like, you just know it. It sucks because then it's like the player gets wasted. Like, you put the butts in the seats for that team that lives there and their fans, but in reality, it's like you're never going to get the best out of, like, you're almost holding the player back hostage because you're paying them so much money and you're not helping them actually achieve the, climbing of the mountain, to the rooftops. I think a lot of people thought that was going to be good. He got hurt, and it's a better fit where he is now. But again, it's all about, the type of player. Can you play off the ball? Do you need the ball? Are you going to whine? Are you a player's coach? Can you vibe with the players? Are you a me guy? Are you a team guy? So obviously different personalities, different swag, different chemistry. So sometimes you can have a guy like Porzingis that can get to, 18 points and 12 boards, and then have an off game of like 6 and 6, and then have another good game. But it all depends on the flow of the offense, and if you give the guy opportunities, or if other guys get hurt, and then you get to be the number 2, for a little bit instead of being the 3. And if you're the third option, you know what we get. But if you end up being the second option based off an injury, that's when you can start to see some of the second tier players go to first tier. They climb a tier because they get more opportunities. What are we fucking reviewing here with Dame? What's going on here? Oh yeah, Porzingis is a special player. All right, Blazers, come on. Hold on, motherfucker. But I do like the Dame and Giannis combo. Like, there is a reason why Giannis wanted Dame, because you have to have like that Steph Curry type of shooter, and there's a lot of them that are getting older, so you got to be able to find one that still has a little bit of youth left. So that way, if you're still trying to be able to win another championship, and obviously I would believe that Giannis knows that he could win it, with him as the focal point, but to have someone like on his level, not named Middleton, and you still got Lopez, even though you lost some other key pieces. Like, it will come down to defense there for the Bucks, though. And if the defense gets good, yeah, they'll be able to win a championship. But if the defense is ass, they'll probably get there and then maybe lose the one time that they get there. Call overturned. What the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is a jump ball? Hurry the fuck up. 113, 112, Blazers. They played great every quarter, matched the intensity of Milwaukee, and actually have played better, every quarter. But again, this is like that one game that they play good because the fans are actually like there. Like normal fans of the Blazers that would have watched us at home or maybe just not watched. They're like, oh, Dame's coming back. Okay, I'll pay the extra to see Dame. And then you get the extra energy in the building, and then you actually are close and have a chance to win instead of getting blown out by 30, 40, 50 like earlier in the year. Some of the matchups for the Blazers. Stay on Dame. Fuck the threes. Fuck. Unbelievable. 115, 112. Come on, baby. Lopez, 19 points, 4 from 8 from deep. Like, the only center in the NBA that should be fucking shooting threes is him. Everyone else, it should be off limits. It's a fucking LFG. I got my fucking mortgage on this game. I'm not going to be able to pay my rent. My phone is going to get turned off. I'm fucked. You know how many lawns I'm going to have to mow? How much dog shit I'm going to have to pick up? I mean, that's everyone in the room with the parlays if they don't get their fucking win. Let's go, baby. Fucking Jeremy Grant. Everyone that bets and has the parlays, they know, it's like, oh fuck, man. Fuck myself, dude. I did way too much. I bet too many games. I fucking, I've lost too many times. I should have took a break. Deeper and deeper in the hole. Fuck Lopez in that 3. No, but I respect the parlays. I ain't gonna ever be like, fuck your parlay. I'm always gonna try to help people win money. Like, especially if I can have some ESP moments or give my insight, especially if I'm covering like every sport and I'm doing this every day. Fucking what a rejection. Fucking A. So many chances for the Blazers. I got the fucking over. I ain't picking up no dog shit this week. I ain't doing the dishes. I ain't taking out the laundry. Oh, fucking Dame. Oh, my goodness. Dame Dollar. Let's go, Blazers. And it's like, even with this type of energy and effort, like it took all of that for us to be within like one. Otherwise we do get blown out by like 30 this game. Fucking A. Listen, this go overtime. Everybody's parlays are fuck. But we love Dalla. We love Dame. He was always, class act, great community guy, um, accessible, actually can fucking rap. I mean, I don't think he's ever going to really need money, but I would assume he'll do the music scene after he's done. I imagine there'll be a few things that he'll do with like Lil Wayne and a few others with his Bay connections. What a fucking catch! I got a fucking Portland on a parlay. Oh, fuck yo parlay. Just kidding, bro. I understand, man. Everyone's parlay needs to hit. Otherwise you can't pay rent. Your girlfriend leaves you. You got no money for Taco Bell. Can't even buy a fucking soft taco. You just be fucking eating the fire packets, just hoping that you get the Blazers in the parlay, so that way you can get a fucking chicken chalupa and hope your girlfriend doesn't leave you. I mean, it's the story of every betting man's life. You know, get the chalupa, keep the girlfriend, pay the rent. Don't get your phone turned off. Don't pick up dog shit and wash dishes. God damn, we had so many fucking close moments there. Fuck yeah, dude. I'm fucking talking about. He got the 3 mustard packets. You know what I'm saying? He did that shit in advance, like a bunker. Like knowing in advance that you're gonna be fucked, and so you got the 3. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. It's like corn dogs, but you just don't got the corn dogs. You got the ketchup and mustard packet though. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. 115, 114 Blazers. I'm just happy that the Blazers put up effort in being a bottom 5 team, and like it took people to pay extra money to show up, for Dame to come back into town, for us to give maximum effort once all season. But at least we have a chance, which would be pretty cool. Let's go, baby. 117, 116 Blazers. Dame from 3. They got greedy when it was 115, 114, and then they had the Dame for 3. Alley oop. Golly, golly. You gotta be kidding me with the alley oop. Dame and Giannis, Giannis and Dame. Hey, it's okay. Everyone can be a degenerate from time to time. Everyone has, moments where, you're gonna do what you want to do. There's people that spend thousands of dollars on sports card boxes and never fucking get anything, and they keep fucking doing it. Fuck yeah, let's go. Right? And then you get the people that bet, and sometimes they lose all their goddamn money and some. And sometimes win big, but sometimes fuck up. Everyone gets to be a part of DX once in a while. What a fucking steal right there. And then the oop to fucking Giannis. God damn it. Hey, Anthony Simons is like, hey, I can do a Dame shot. Look at me. Floater, baby. Yeah, smash that fucking like button. Let's go. I got the Dame rookie sewn jersey on. I should show you that Jordan jacket that I got, that vintage one. Some good money. Usually, you'll see some of them if they're fucked up, like maybe 100, $150. But some of them like 150 to 300, somewhere in that general range. It's a nice one though. The Dame time. I miss Dame time. Get those likes up. It helps with the analytics and the metrics. Shout out to the people watching on Twitter/X. And we'll be doing Lakers Celtics tomorrow, and Nuggets Blazers Friday, and then NHL All Star Game Saturday. And then I'll watch the Senior Bowl, but we won't do a stream for that. I'll watch that early in the morning. Go Rip City. He said Portland. He separated it. Dame, Lopez. They want Lopez for 3. I don't think that's the ideal shot that you wanted. For that Jordan jacket, ridiculous. Anything that's got the image of the player that played in the 80s or 90s, and if you can get a starter jacket or a chalk line or one of those old school, jackets, that has that, it's incredible. Like if you see someone wearing one, it's just like it stands out like a sore thumb. And like they made it of like Barry Sanders and like Montana, and they did some of the legend players like Bird and Magic and Drexler and Jordan. Iconic piece, baby. From Earth, Oregon. Yeah, I've been doing the channel for 12. Let's see, I've been recording for what, 12 years? But this is my 8th year on YouTube, so long time. Basketball, baseball, football, hockey, UFC, WWE, AEW. I mean, we do everything. All the NFL, all the college football, Kraken and others on the NHL side, NBA, Blazers and such. A little bit of everything. AEW, WWE, NJPW, ROH, Impact, boxing, UFC. There's nothing that we don't really touch. Not Dame time. Could be Dame time. Nice. Who's your NFL team? Even though I live here in Oregon, I'm a Bucks fan. I've been a Bucks fan since '95. It's the only team that I root for that's non-Pacific Northwest. It's like Oregon Ducks, Seattle Mariners, because I met Griffey when I was a kid, right? And then Blazers, Kraken, and then the only team is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's it. Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, Rondé Barber, Mike Allstott. Those are my guys, baby. Go, baby. Blazers up by 3. So I need that fucking money. I need my parlay. I don't want to pick up no dog shit. Fucking mow the lawns, wash cars. I need that parlay to hit. Come on, baby. Hang on. Yeah. Hell, hey, Tampa's went to 2 Super Bowls and 2 wins. I got nothing to be fucking sorry about. Don't feel sorry for me. I'm on cloud 9, bro, and I'm a Ducks fan. We're gonna get a natty here in the next 10 years. So once I can accomplish that, and hopefully I can get a Mariner World Series in the next like 30. If I can get something like that, if I'm alive. But don't feel sorry for me, man. I'm one of the only 2 teams to go to 2 Super Bowls and win both, Ravens and the Bucks. So being a Bucks fan, nothing to be sorry about there, bro. I got my fucking championship. Nothing will ever compare to Rondé Barber picking off Donovan McNabb, and that was the biggest play in sports. So, at least for Bucks fans. There we go, baby. Blazers win 119, 116, Rip City. Bang. Fuck yeah, baby. Let's go. Great win. Rip City, baby. Rip City, baby. Let's go. Let's go. All right, we're doing Lakers and Celtics. We're doing Lakers Celtics tomorrow. We're going to be doing that. We'll be Bird and Magic, but we'll be streaming that tomorrow. And then we will do Nuggets and probably Blazers on Friday, NHL All-Star Game on Saturday, and then on Sunday, I haven't fucking looked that far. I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitter/X and all the newbies that fucking won their parlay or lost all their rent money. Final score, Blazers 119. Rip City. Milwaukee Bucks 116. Dame Dollar loses at his return back to Portland, Oregon. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Take care of your mental health. You only got one. I love you and I appreciate you. And I got one question for you. Well, you know, talk like us, your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatic, Lakers Celtics tomorrow. And I will see you then. All right.